your stretches. I will say a word, and then the three of you need to give a one or a pithy response to the word. Are you ready?
I feel like I'm being set up.
That is always the case with Todd. Watch out for him. He will try to embarrass you.
We're going to start out. This is just kind of touching your toes. Easy setup for you. Let's begin with an easy one. The word is Beth Moore.
That's 2 words.
Literalist. All right. Dr. MacArthur, Beth Moore.
How many words do I get?
You know, actually, and before you answer this, please think carefully this time, because last time you did a one-word association. The guy wrote a book about it, and we don't want that.
I was thinking of the same word.
Okay.
Go home.
Well, I see we're warmed up. Why dilly-dally?
There's no case that can be made biblically for a woman preacher. Period. Paragraph. End of discussion.
So let me see if I can get a clarification on that. Got one. Phil, anything to add?
No, the word that comes to my mind is narcissistic. I think the first time I saw her, I thought, she is, this is going back to the last session of what Mike said, this is what it looks like to preach yourself rather than Christ.
All right. And
in fact, she has said that. She said, I read the Bible and I try to find myself in the narrative. I put myself in the narrative. And that is exactly what she does.
And this, by the way, Bodie Bachem was supposed to be here, but I'll just let you know he's not here because he's weak, is what it is. He's weak, and he wanted to rest. So, Mike, and by the way, dude, you killed it. That sermon was double. Beth Moore.
I heard John MacArthur say period, paragraph, end of story.
All right, one more, and then we will get into our video clips.
I would just add one thing. Just because you have the skill to sell jewelry on the TV sales channel doesn't mean you should be preaching. There are people who have certain hawking skills, natural abilities to sell. They have energy and personality and all of that. That doesn't qualify you to preach.
Dr. MacArthur, we've done this a number of times, and I've asked you a number of questions on pretty broad-ranging issues. I'm perceiving this is actually troubling you.
Profoundly troubles me because I think the church is caving into women preachers. Just the other day, the same thing happened with Paula White. A whole bunch of leading evangelicals endorsed her new book. She's a heretic and a prosperity preacher, 3 times married. And what are they thinking? The Me Too movement, again, is the culture reclaiming ground in the church. When the leaders of evangelicalism roll over for women preachers, the feminists have really won the battle. The primary effort in feminism is not equality. They don't want equality. That's why 99% of plumbers are men. They don't want equal power to be a plumber. They want to be senators, preachers, congressmen, president, the power structure in a university. They want power, not equality. And this is the highest location they can ascend to that power in the evangelical church and overturn what is clearly scriptural. So I think this is feminism gone to church. This is why we can't let the culture exegete the Bible. And I need to add a footnote. When the Southern Baptists met in June, and they passed Resolution 9, and they said intersectionality and critical theory are useful tools in interpreting the Bible, that was a watershed moment for that entire movement. Because if the culture has the right to interpret the Bible, they will interpret the Bible, and liberalism will take over. This is an evidence that they are allowing the culture to interpret the Scripture. A couple weeks after that, there was a panel discussion of Southern Baptist leaders who said there should never be another translation committee without a Latino, an African American, and a woman on it. Translation of the Bible? How about somebody who knows Greek and Hebrew? So, I mean, this is not a minor issue. When you literally overturn the clear teaching of Scripture to empower people who want power, you have given up biblical authority. This is not a small issue.
People would say, no, that it's not our intention, specifically after the convention of the Southern Baptist Convention. This is not about egalitarianism. This is maybe perhaps a soft complementarianism. First of all, is there such a thing as soft complementarianism?
Well, I don't know about terms. I just know women are not allowed to preach.
All right. Do you think that is the direction that the SBC is headed in?
Oh, it's more than the direction. It was a plunge headlong. But it's not just that. You can see it in other things that they're tolerant of. I guess in some ways it's remarkable they lasted as long as they did when all the other denominations have been gone 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. And they held on to inerrancy and they held on to a legitimate hermeneutic. But when you decide that the culture can interpret the Scripture and you need cultural cues to translate the Bible, the horse is out of the barn.
Do you believe that on that issue, can the horse be returned at the barn?
It's not likely because that is the result of a democratic decision. They voted on that, right? And the majority voted that external cultural cues are useful tools in interpreting the Bible. That's the fruit of inadequate teaching at a core level, at a foundational level. So how do you turn that around without going back into the whole operation and changing the way they understand truth and doctrine?
Phil, the issue of